I didn't promise you that I would cut your taxes. I had a plan. We're barely paying our teachers. We can't give our senior citizens relief. There's just so much that we want to do, but you can't do that when you're not innovating. They brought in the sphere.
I thought it was still, a debate that's coming.
From what I know, is supposed to be coming. We've got to create an opportunity where our dollar circulates in this county. We're sending a message that everything is fine and everything is not fine. This economy is not fine.
All right, welcome back to the Digital Discourse podcast. Today we have candidate for the county executive of PG County, Mr. Marcellus Crews.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me, Corey. It's good to be on Digital Discourse.
You got it. You got it. And thank you for coming.
Mhm.
I've been wanting to go down the political path for the podcast for a while now, so you're the first of your kind on here, so I appreciate the time.
All right. I plan to, be a trailblazer for you.
That's good. That's what I'm looking for. And
Mhm.
I'm hoping that, this starts honestly a trend of us like bringing local government into the culture.
Mhm.
And I think it's a good way for y'all to promote yourselves other than just like the signs and everything.
That's right. Local government should be at these type of, where we can really share what's going on.
Mhm.
Yeah. Shouldn't be all up here. It's
Yeah.
got to be down here with the people.
I think it makes sense. I think it's a mutual benefit there.
Mhm.
And most people, and myself included, don't really get into local government from
Okay.
what I know. I
Okay.
think, and especially when it comes to participation, it's only at the national level, only for the presidency.
That's right. That's right.
So for the average person, as the county executive, if you were elected,
Mhm.
what would be aspects of a PG County resident's life that you would actually affect?
Oh, wow. This is the thing. I'm glad you asked that question. Everyone comes out for federal elections, president is being elected, and I voted, now we're good.
Right.
And then they go home. But the local elections is what really governs your life. You first interface with your local government in every aspect, whether it's the trash pickup, snow removal,
Mhm.
whether you have stores in your area, what type of stores, grocery stores, all of that is affected by the government and its leadership. How many schools you have, uh, you know, the whole vision for your area comes from local government,
Mhm.
even down to healthcare.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So it is important for you to vote because you're constantly everyone's constantly looking at the federal level like, oh, that's what's affecting me. No. It's right in your backyard. What is government? Government is keeping people safe
Mhm.
and providing services. And that's what the local government does for you, from the police, first responders, all the way to the judges. That's local government.
Mhm.
So the average person is affected by the county executive in this county more than they realize. So when they're frustrated and they're complaining, you know how the president says the buck stops with me?
Mhm.
Well, the buck has to stop with the county executive.
Mhm. So what's something that's like you hear average, since Trump is the president right now, you hear average person like Trump did this and Trump did that, but actually he has nothing to do with it. It's a PG County issue or local government issue.
Taxes,
Okay.
locally, taxes are governed, especially in this area, it's governed by the county.
Mm-hmm.
The county creates how much you're going to pay for property tax or income tax. That is all local.
Really?
And so when I hear people talking about, oh, my taxes are high, well, what's happening locally? You know, um, some areas, I'm from Florida. I was born in Florida. So they say, we've cut taxes, but then prices go up, on food and restaurants and stores. And that's because government cut taxes, but they got to raise taxes somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always hidden,
Yeah.
but taxes are always there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's something locally
That's
that you
all
handle.
locally. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what's something that is going on locally that you've seen and you're like, I wouldn't do it this way. I'm gonna take care of that if I get it.
That's a loaded question.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, here in Prince George's County, we're living off our past historic image. Prince George's County, predominantly black, one of the wealthiest counties in America. We're living off of that, and we've lost the vision because now our school system is down at the bottom. Once again, here in this county, our property tax is high, our income tax is high. This county is not business friendly, you know, and we're not growing. I liken it to a family. And it's like having parents who have several kids. All right. Let's say they have 27 kids, because that's how many municipalities we have here.
Okay.
And we only really give that one kid all of the love. That's the harbor. you know, and we giving it all that one kid. We just handing them all the love. And some kids, they get ice cream. They get what they're needing, but that's because their proximity. And then there's the other kids who never get anything. So as these kids are growing up, it's as if the parents don't go out and get a new job to help them get ahead. So the parents are relying on the kids to go out and work. And so they're just taking their money every month. I'm taking your money. I need to pay the bills. And if the parents do not go and do what they're supposed to do, now the kids are stuck. Mom, I want to go to college. Well, you can't go to college. We don't have enough money for you to go to college. And that's the situation I believe that we're in now. The county is taxing us homeowners, and they are taxing us workers, and that's how they're balancing their budget. And that is not growth. That is not something that is sustainable. And I think everybody feels that. They're just trying to figure out, where is it in the numbers? Where are they wasting? Well, they're not growing. I mean, it's just as simple as that. And then they're making bad deals. They're making poor deals from a position of weakness. I think it's high time that we bring in someone who understands business, creating jobs, being business friendly to all businesses that want to come here, someone who can innovate, and make the process simple, as well as develop better. Because we're not even developing well. You just see a bunch of homes. Well, if you see a bunch of homes and, gas stations and little corner stores, that is not the type of environment I think most of us envision Prince George's County to be, right? We envision more the harbor, right? In different areas. But no, that's not what we're getting. Well, one child is getting all the love. So I would change how we're developing. I would change how we're growing.
Okay. And when you say change, is it just because you said a lot in there.
Yes, I did.
You said the harbor's getting most of the love. It's bad business deals. It's not business friendly, and using the money that you can get from the residents to balance the budget. So is it more so that they're just not allocating it properly? One area is getting too much, or they're trying things in other places that they shouldn't have tried and it's failing. Like where are the mistakes happening?
The mistakes is we are hiring managers, not individuals who cast vision. So I ask this question all the time. What's the vision for the county? What is the vision for Prince George's County? I've asked reporters, I've asked people, my neighbors, I've asked everyone, and no one can tell me. Where there's no vision, the people perish. Government is supposed to project a vision. And once you project, let's say the vision is EV cars. Well, now everybody know where we're going. Now everybody know when you build a store, okay, EV, ports and charging and all that is going to come. And if, you know where things are going, and now green energy is probably going to be, the thing that we're pushing.
Makes sense.
So right now we are just being managed. We hire someone, they come in, the snow hits and they're like, oh, we're going to get on it, and they're just managing. You never hear where we are going. And so when you don't hear that, now funds are being mismanaged. Now funds are not being projected and pointed to where they should. And then you're not fighting for that project that should have gone in, right? How do you know which project to fight for? if you don't know the vision of the county.
Right, right.
I have a vision, and it's simple and it's clear. It is time for us to have financial healing, not miss any more opportunities, and take our education and workforce development to the next level. And I call that creating the innovation technology hub for the world here in Prince George's County.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was going to get into that
Okay.
next.
Right,
And
right.
and I think you even went as far as to say you wanted this to be the Silicon Valley of the East Coast.
Yes, I mean, my phrase right there is basically saying this is going to be the Silicon Valley. However, it'll be something new,
Okay.
something different from the Silicon Valley. I have a serious vision, and my vision isn't just my feelings. I have numbers behind them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
like the statement itself sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes into the capability of to get to that vision,
Mm-hmm.
you know, obviously North Virginia business friendly. It's a lot of tech innovation, a lot of
That's right.
corporations there.
That's
What
right.
are they doing that Maryland isn't doing to get that?
Mm. I would say what they're doing is they're hiring the right people. I think it starts with who you hire.
Mm-hmm.
I have worked for and work with government, and when they bring me in, they're hiring me for something specific, right? And they want me to be, they want that person who they're bringing in to be the best of the best and
Mm-hmm.
get it done right and get it done, within cost. If I came in and I, like the snow, and I didn't really do my job, I wouldn't have that job. And I think it first start out with who are we hiring? And then after you hire, what is the vision? And once you know that vision, everybody is singing to that tune. So not Northern, but Virginia is singing to their tune. And they know how they like to build.
Mm-hmm.
They know where their homes are going to be, where their urban centers are going to be, where their business community is going to be. They understand that chemistry, those ingredients, and how to lay them out well. And and I wouldn't just say Virginia. I would look at, I was just in Texas, and Dallas has really laid
Definitely Dallas.
Dallas has laid a well-planned vision down
Mm-hmm.
so that the next person that comes in, they're just following suit and they're following along with that vision. And now they may add to the vision, right? But they're not subtracting. And I think we have subtracted. That's our problem here. We're not we're not bringing in the right companies. We're not bringing the right environment for those companies to thrive. So I heard someone say, well, we need to grow our, commercial tax base.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when people, the average person hear that, they don't know what that means, but it sounds good. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
grow the commercial tax base.
Right.
Well, that statement means nothing if you are not intentional. So right now, Prince George's County has over eight. What it was it? I want to say we have over 18,000 registered businesses here.
Really?
Yeah,
Just
we
in the
we
county?
have the largest register of small businesses of any county,
Wow.
but you wouldn't know that. So we have expanded our businesses,
Mm-hmm.
and who registers here, but they don't function out of here. Why? Because this is not a business friendly county.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I say that? Where are the restaurants? Where's those outside, portals where I could just take somebody to the cafe and do a business deal, right? I have to go to Montgomery County for that.
Mm-hmm.
Where, and then with our schools being the way they are, everybody's thinking, well, Howard and Montgomery, that's where I need to go to hire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because, and they're more educated over there. And that's not the case, but that's what you're thinking. Then you're thinking, well, where are the urban centers? I only have the harbor, right?
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at it like that, and you're not cutting red tape, making it easy for businesses to get in, giving them that, yeah, I don't know, 6 months free until they get up on their feet. Because if you have a plan and a vision, that 6 months is nothing. It's about the long term gain.
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're not building urban centers, I call them walkable commerce. Walkable commerce represents $2 trillion in the US last year, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
what is walkable commerce? Have you ever been to the Nat Stadium?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you see that ecosystem. People live
Yeah,
around
yeah.
there.
If you just
You
come
got
down and stuff, it's right
there.
there.
There you go. You drive in. You park your car. You go to your condo.
Mm-hmm.
You come down. You walk, and everything is at your disposal.
They got something like that over there in Hyattsville, with Whole Foods is.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
That area. They got like
Well,
like a
and
mini
that's
thing there.
closer to University of Maryland,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they're building over there,
Mm-hmm.
right? But we're not building like that in our entire county.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in every municipality, we should have a tourist street. We should have an urban center like that.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because now our businesses, we can cut red tape and your business can be in several different locations. Right now you're like, okay, I'm gonna stay in the county.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can, after the podcast, you can go downstairs and you can walk. Right now, where are you gonna walk?
Yeah, gotta get in my car.
You gotta get in your car.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is less taxing on the environment. This is less congestion. It's just a better way for us to think through this county.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that some people don't want to live in the suburbs. I live in the suburbs and I like living in the suburbs, but we can better think our cities. We can better think how we're growing these cities so that they can take care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's more money, right? That we would generate.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the type of things I would like to do and build. However, you can't do that if you're not growing. So right now, this county doesn't have any money. I don't care what anybody tell you. This county does. We've run out of money.
Okay. So for your vision, what's the first step? Like, how do you get the money?
Oh, I love that question.
Yeah.
Listen, I have a dynamic team. I even have an economist who has his PhD on my team.
Okay. Qualified.
Very qualified. My whole team is qualified, and it's almost a financial campaign team. Um, we took my vision. We took the current budget that was put out, and we came up with our own numbers, and we put in my vision. So my vision, one, is financial healing, because you can't do anything until you deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we have lost the Commanders, we've lost Six Flags, and we're losing businesses every day, and families are moving out. So the first thing we need to do is bring in an enterprise that begins to make people go, wait a minute, hold on, did I leave too soon? And we want to bring this enterprise in to make money, right?
Right.
So right now, you brought up Virginia. They have a bunch of data centers. And people have asked me, what do you think about these data centers that they want to build here?
Mm-hmm.
And I have told them, no, let's not build those data centers here right now. And now people are shocked. I'm a technology guy, right? I'm a technology guy. I'm a business guy. I've been in government. And so why would you say no? Because there's a better way.
Yeah, I would have thought that you would have wanted them.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go. Most people thought that, but no, I believe that there's a better way. So let me give it to you quickly. I believe in decentralization. Remember Uber?
Mm-hmm.
When Uber came out, most people didn't understand it. They didn't realize how much it was about to disrupt the transit sector.
Boy, did it.
And boy, did it.
Mm-hmm.
But Uber, imagine if this government, Prince George's County, had said, you know what? I have a leader who understands Uber, and we're going to invest, and we're going to let citizens invest. We would be on a whole nother page. We would be bringing in billions of dollars right now because we would have invested in that venture,
Mm-hmm.
and we would have made that money. And not only us, but our citizens, because I believe in an entrepreneurial state. I believe a state that is more active, making sure the sectors that we need to grow are growing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're cutting red tape and we're putting money into it and we're allowing our citizens to invest directly. You don't have to have $10,000 to invest. I believe that as a collective, if we invest, we can parcel out what you made from that deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you do that, now we're not talking about, I promise you, I'm going to give you a tax cut. you're getting your money back from these deals.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I believe in. So right now, decentralization has come to cloud computing. Okay. Now, most people don't understand what I'm even about to say. So I'm going to make it real simple. Everything on your cell phone is through cloud computing. Okay. Everything. Banking, hospitality, you name it. That's through cloud computing, even GPS, right? It's got to be put out there some kind of way. And data centers are not going away, right? Cloud computing is not going away. We need it, and we need AI to grow. However, there's a cool way to do it. There is an opportunity where we can build an enterprise right here where Prince George's County becomes the cloud computing center where everyone who wants to can participate. Now, what does that look like? In a data center, there are a bunch of servers.
Mm-hmm.
And most people don't realize, but each of those servers make a lot of money monthly. So the average server could make over $1,500 by itself. Now, most people don't realize this. So times that times, I don't know, 5,000. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why a AWS will say, I'll build a data center for $5 billion because they know they're going to get their money back very quickly and they're going to go into residual income. Well, I want to bring that to our citizens and to our businesses, our churches, right, to our healthcare sector, as well as to the government. If we build our own decentralized data center, and we can, it's already up and going, it's already ready to go. If we brought that enterprise here, we stand to be able to allow citizens to get up to $500 a month. That's $6,000 a year. Okay. We stand to help.
That would be in the form of some kind of residual income or relief.
That
Utility
would be
relief.
in the form of income.
Okay.
Now, we can do it several ways. I was just talking to my team today. For those who are leasing and renting, we can give them relief in a check.
Okay.
Okay. For those who are on their home, we can basically give them relief towards their property tax.
Mm-hmm.
Right. All of a sudden, I didn't promise you that I would cut your taxes. I had a plan
Mm-hmm.
to cut your taxes.
Plan
Right.
sounds so much better
Right.
than a statement.
By the numbers. And then our businesses can make residual income up to $1,500, sometimes to at $3,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then our larger businesses who pour into this project can really make a substantial amount monthly. But the government, in my plan, in the first year of doing this enterprise, we bring in $250 million. Okay. That offsets the $58.3 million of a deficit that we're going to see because we are not going to grow in this next cycle from 26 to 27. That's in our budget. That's the budget that was proposed. It's telling us that we're balancing it off of property tax and income tax. Well, in our numbers, we're showing that we don't have to rely on that. We, on day one of my election, and we already have a bill. It's called the Prosperity Community Cloud Act. That bill breaks this whole thing down and breaks how we would bring in this new enterprise and how we will show that it works for the people now.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine, you don't have to mess with your water, your environment, CO2 emissions are not going up. Imagine now you're making the money.
Mm-hmm.
Now, somebody asked me, well, is it secure? Yes, this is blockchain technology. For any technician that's listening, or anybody that blockchain technology is technology that's been around. And let me just kind of share how you would have to hack into blockchain technology. If you had 10,000 units you would have to go into all 10,000 at the same time and manipulate them at the same exact time. That is what you would have to do. Now, the last piece of what I would like to do is we have quantum computing right here in Prince George's County. I saw in an article the other day and it burned me up. And that article said that Maryland and Montgomery County are making moves in quantum computing. And that burned me up. And somebody said, well, why does that burn you up? I said, because we have the quantum computer right here in Prince George's County.
It's here in our county?
It's here in our county at the University of Maryland.
Okay.
So why are we cut out of the conversation? Because we're not innovating. Because we don't have leadership that's casting vision. Because we're not showing how we can be brought into the conversation. So get this, by us creating our own, we'll be the first county in America to create our own cloud computing where citizens are now involved. You can put a little nano server in their home, in a business, right? In the government. And you can create walls so that the government is functioning separately from the community and businesses as well. But here's the point. We can add quantum computing as the backbone for security and research. Now, that's a playground that I think that we can learn an awful lot with our quantum computer. And now we're back in the conversation. And now I think we'll be leading the conversation because of the other things that we would bring to bear here in this county. My thing is, I'm a new father. Okay, I have a newborn.
Okay, congratulations.
Well, thank you. And I don't want him coming up in this disarray, in this sad and tired economy. I want him to feel what I felt when I first came to Prince George's County. I want him to see that we can do. And so if we innovate now, if we take hold of this type of enterprise now, notice we're not handing the money away to someone else. We're taking it in. And in about a year to a year and a half, we'll be at $500 million that we'll be bringing in. The goal is to get to $1 billion+ that we're bringing in now we can grow. Now we can talk about all the stuff, all these great plans that everybody has. Now we can get to them. But right now, grants are going back to the state. We can barely put extra money into our education system. We're barely paying our teachers. We can't give our senior citizens relief. There's just so much that we want to do, but you can't do that when you're not innovating.
And not making any money.
You're not making any money.
So I have 3 questions in all of that. First, I don't know too much about security, but the idea of having scattered servers in each person's home, how can you secure that?
Well, I said it earlier.
With the blockchain?
Blockchain technology.
Okay.
Blockchain technology is kind of the way you think of it as a chain.
Okay.
Right. You mess with one chain, that chain just comes out of the link and it moves. And data is scattered throughout all of the chain.
Okay.
So when
since they'll all be connected.
there you
Okay,
go. So once that citizen takes that unit, it's only so almost the size of a cell phone, but a little bit bigger. They take it home, they plug it into power, they plug it into their internet, and they put an APC on it, which is a backup power unit. Those are the qualifications, and then at least have a gigahertz, a gig network. And you take that home, you plug it in, you just leave it alone. Now, if you mess with it, you're messing with your money now.
Right.
Because now that's coming out of the chain and you've messed up the deal for you.
Right.
And so that's the security that we have around it. Now, there's other things that come to play. The same security that we have for data centers, centralized, we have for the decentralized, but this is blockchain. So it goes, the handshake is zero handshake. So it's we're thorough.
Okay. You don't got to go too deep because that's a complex conversation that I probably wouldn't even understand. I need to go more into blockchain. That is on my list to get more into. But the second part about that question is power.
Yes.
Because Maryland definitely consumes more than we generate.
That's right.
So when it comes to that, like what would you say to somebody that would assume that would increase energy costs?
Well, we can show you that it's only 6 watts per unit. Because it's blockchain and because of the way what these servers are doing, they don't require a whole lot of power, like your laptop,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like you buying another laptop and bringing it home and plugging it in. That is the people who already have them. So this technology is already out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're already doing this. So the people who have them, they have not seen one change to their electric bill,
Okay.
but they're receiving new funds,
So
right?
so a county or a city somewhere already has this plan in play.
Individuals.
Okay.
So when this came out, we had to have a test bed, right?
Okay.
And so we tested it, and then after that test bed, we launched. And once we launched, once this was launched, uh, you know, now businesses are coming on it. There was a well, I don't want to get too deep into this, but there was a competition between uploading a gaming system right onto this system versus a competitor, and this system beat it by 5 minutes. Okay, so this is very fast, very secure, less waste,
Mm-hmm.
and remember, I told you 60% less CO2 emissions. You don't need fresh water. You don't need coolant going on. So you can, in your business, you could put it in the corner and plug it in, make sure it has the internet, and forget about it and receive residual income. That is
That's pretty good.
that's the program.
That's hard to say no to. It almost sounds too
Right.
good to be true.
Well, think of it this way: Uber.
Mm-hmm.
That was too good to be true. How can this be? I mean, what are y'all doing? Oh, I can have a fleet of cars, and now all of a sudden I own, a business just making money in
Mm-hmm.
the transit area. That is what decentralization does. And you have to remember that data and data centers is the new oil. That's the new gold,
Mm-hmm.
right? We had the gold rush, we had the oil rush. Now we have the data center rush. And there's only a select few in that sphere. And notice they're not sharing their profits, not like that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this will disrupt that. This will disrupt that.
Okay.
And this will put us all in the money making machine. And it would be the first county, think about it, first county that has its own cloud computing center with quantum computer, right, as a backbone for security
Mm-hmm.
as well as for research, right? We can bring down 15 to 50% our cloud computing cost.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a good plan.
Mm-hmm.
And where do you see, since the plan is obviously to generate as much as we can so we can do more,
Mm-hmm.
where do you see where we're wasting the most currently?
um, we're wasting a lot of money in how we do our deals. So, we bring in developers and so let's start there. They're building homes. We're not really thinking through what the community is going to look like. And so you see these homes go up in congestion. So that's a bad deal,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, if I came into your house and I said, I'm going to put the refrigerator over there, you know, you need a new refrigerator. Yeah, I need a second one. And I just slap it over in the corner in the family room. Hello? Was that efficient? Was that done right? No.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start there. Then we're leasing a lot of our buildings, right? And we're losing businesses. We're not innovating. We're not bringing in new money. I mean, they brought in the sphere, and I'll bring that up. I'll
Okay,
go
I was
ahead
going to
and
get to that.
okay. They brought in the sphere.
So that is, I thought it was still, a debate that's coming.
From what I know, it's supposed to be coming.
Okay.
Now let me say this. I am not against bringing things into the county. My issue is we're not thinking through the entire county.
You could about to say it's going to the same
It's
space,
going to the
the
same
same child.
child. we're just packing in this. And so what, when they sold the Sphere, they said more tourism.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we're already getting a lot of tourism down at the harbor,
Right.
right? We're getting it at the harbor, we're getting it at the MGM, and now we want to bring it to the Sphere. Okay. All right. So that one child, boy, that child is like, oh, yes, everybody, look at me, look at me. Well, think about it. And that's another deal that I'm saying. I'm not saying don't bring it. I'm saying if I were in office and I brought it, but I told you that we was bringing this enterprise and you were going to benefit, you'd be happy. You'd be like, okay. But if I'm bringing it and we're still living off of property tax and income tax, you're going to say, well, then how did that help me? And then once it's built, is it really going to help me?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody thought MGM was going to take care of education, right? They thought that it would directly pay for our education, our schools, and we wouldn't be, having developers come in, and now we have to lease back with the developer the new building and all this kind of stuff, and that didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so everybody is wondering, how are we setting up these deals? And what I'm saying is, everyone, please open your eyes, because the county executive is not just managing the county. It's just not keeping us safe. The county executive is the executive, the CEO. Look it up, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Look it up. Google it. The county executive is the CEO for the county. Now, when I said it like that, doesn't that change it? Doesn't
Yeah.
that change the job description?
Yeah.
It changes it to someone who traffics in business, because you got to bring business to the county. And you got to make sure the businesses who are functioning in your county are functioning right and playing by the rules, right? And now you have to make sure you're building correctly. And we have the restaurants. We've got to create an opportunity where our dollar circulates in this county
Mm-hmm.
and not go out of the county. We're going out of county for healthcare. We're going out of county for food. We're going out of county for fun and venture.
Literally everything.
Right, literally everything. Now they say, well, the harbor's down there. Everybody doesn't go to harbor. Some people just want to go out to a nice little cafe and then walk the streets. So they go to Silver Spring. You know, so that is what I'm getting at. We have to innovate.
Okay. No, that makes sense. It would be amazing to be able to stay here. And for the amount of affluent people we have here, it makes sense that that would already be a thing.
You think? You
Yeah.
think? Yeah. I mean, we pay over what, 4,600 on average property tax, and yet I can't. You know, I can't go to, I don't know, Cheesecake Factory
Mm-hmm.
right here. I got to go out of the county to go to that.
Yeah.
California Kitchen. I mean, and I'm not talking. eh, We only have what, one Whole Foods,
Mm-hmm.
and that's by the University of Maryland. That's
Yeah.
why that's there.
Makes sense.
You
Makes
know,
sense. Yeah.
it is time for us to make our county business friendly, transform it, bring a new image to it, right? Because when people see, uh, all a charismatic county, right? And they see them talking it up, and they're bringing in new enterprise. And if you bring in what I'm talking about, all of a sudden the federal government is looking at us.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, wait a minute, there's something there. And all of a sudden our kids now have a chance. And I hope we get into that. I want to get into a little bit of education, but
Well, that was next because I was
okay.
going to ask you. You mentioned financial healing,
Mhm.
and I would assume that would come in the form of education. So,
Yes.
talk more about what would be the plan for that.
All right. So I believe that to get back to number one, we have to solve a problem. So I'm all about solving problems, right? And so we talked about, how do we solve the county's financial woes, right? How do we solve how we build and develop, and how do we stop making these poor, bad decisions and deals? Now, the foundation of any county, why do businesses move in and why do people stay? It's because of education, the education system,
Mm-hmm.
right? Families move to county. They moved to Howard County because that I heard it's number one. Let me head to Howard County,
Yeah, that is a
right?
concern for parents for sure.
All right. Well, this is what I have up my sleeve. I currently have a pilot program taking place right now. Now, notice our financial healing. I already spoke with the company. I already have that. It's in the chamber. Well, I have in the chamber a program called the Prepared Professional. Okay, simplified, it's a new standard. It's a new standard that gives a second pathway in our school system, and it's really tied to workforce development. Okay, so what does that look like? It comes into our schools and it starts at sixth grade. So between 6th and 12th, this program is functioning. Young people right now in this program are able to get certifications. Now, when I say that, everybody freaks out. I mean, what is a sixth grader getting? Well, I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
Because one lady said, are you sure a sixth grader should be getting a certification? And I said, a sixth grader sometimes is dropping out of school, joining gangs. And they learn that system.
Hmm.
So why not learn another system?
I'm so happy that you think that, because this is an actual argument that I have, because I let people know, because I base it off how I was when I was a kid, and I
Mm-hmm.
know if I had the right teacher in front of me,
That's right.
I had the capacity for almost anything by the time I was 8.
That's right. Kids will learn whatever's put in front of them.
Hmm.
They're off the topic, but on this, one of my mentors, his name is Dr. Dean Scott. At
Hmm.
his school, elementary, he teaches algebra, calculus, trigonometry.
In elementary school.
Elementary school, those kids know that. You can
Hmm.
go to the board and put, something a calculus problem on the board, and they'll go up and solve it. His point is,
Amazing.
kids will learn whatever you put in front of them. Over in Singapore, they're already doing this.
Hmm.
What I'm suggesting is in sixth grade, we start kids out getting customer service certifications. There's like 7 or 8 of them. They can get project management. They start getting into that 6, 7, and 8. They're getting applications certifications, right? They have to know all of this,
Hmm.
right, as they matriculate. Now, let's say a kid, by the time they get into leaving eighth, going to ninth, they say, I want to be a doctor. Well, in ninth grade, let's now move them to the higher certifications. Let's get your nurse's assistant, right? Or med tech or whatever, you wherever you want to go to be a doctor, dental hygienist or veterinarian assistant, right?
Hmm.
Now they can work in those capacities. Now, in our program, this is so cool. They're actually working for companies as they're doing their certification. So companies are watching them
Hmm.
and watching the talent. My goal has always been to bring small businesses to our education system the same way we do for sports, right? So all 18,000 businesses here in this county are now watching your kid, my kid, right? As they matriculate through. And they're actually working for them when they're doing these certifications.
Hmm.
So the companies are getting the information very quickly, and some are sharing it, and some are like, no, I'm not sharing it. This is the
Yeah.
kid I want. And so with that kind of competition, the kid is now getting access, and there is a path for them now, right? And now they're not reliant on what do you want to do now that you've graduated. By the time they graduate, they have a slew of certifications. They're qualified.
Hmm.
They know how to do an interview, right? Not in 11th and 12th grade, let's teach them how to do an interview,
Right.
because that's what we're doing now.
Hmm.
We're not asking them, what do you want to be? No, kids are now coming up saying, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. Now, doesn't mean they can't change their mind, but guess what? They're qualified to work in what they're doing and now transition to that other new thing. The jobs of today are now, I mean, tomorrow are now here, right? And we're still stuck in an old mindset. There are new jobs now. Content creator, that's a huge field, content creator. As you know, that somebody doing videos, somebody creating graphic design, right? There's all types of areas in content creating that you can master and then sell it to other people
Right.
that are doing content creation.
Yeah. It's lucrative.
Right. It's very lucrative. And it is important that we create the right environment for our kids to innovate. Somebody asked me, well, what are the jobs for tomorrow? I said, that is not my job. That's why you innovate and create the environment like the Silicon Valley,
Mm-hmm.
where young people now are creating those jobs because you showed them how to be an entrepreneur. You
Mm-hmm.
showed them how they can use their minds now and not later. Studies show that when you bring in an entrepreneur, interactive certification program, starting in junior high or middle school, that kids stay in school. You get 96 percentile graduation rates. And if anybody wants to check me, go to build.org, build, BUILD.org, and check out that program. And
Mm-hmm.
you'll see that I'm not sitting up here just talking. When you introduce interactive classrooms and now kids begin to connect the dots between what they're learning and what they like and what they're into, I mean, they stay in school, they're excited, they're coming home, they're asking questions. Parents are like, wait a minute, what got into you?
Mm-hmm.
Because now they're learning that very thing that, that really their mind has been craving,
Yeah.
And so my goal is to transform our education system. Now, somebody said, well, that's going to take 2-3 years. No, you don't get it. Certifications are done in 3 months. Right? We have
Mm-hmm.
boot camps where you can do it in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
But in our program, certifications are 3 months, So a kid can get 2 certifications in a semester, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by the end of the year, they have four certifications, right? The point I'm making is we have this old mentality, and I'm trying to bring us to where things are today.
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to college.
And this is great. This idea actually, in my opinion, trumps the data center idea because
Oh,
kids are
really?
the future.
Yeah, you're right.
Like if you could, if the way this program is sound, if they come out with the skill sets and the confidence, because without that, you can't pick what you want to do because you're
That's
scared
right.
that you're gonna fail everything.
That's
So
right.
if you got 10 certs loaded in the chamber, you're ready to take on the world.
You ready to take on the
And
world?
the program that you speak of and the
Mhm.
way you want to roll it out,
Mhm.
is it something extracurricular or you plan to integrate it with the school system?
Right now, we're integrating it.
Okay.
It's running parallel.
Okay.
It's running parallel, and we're integrating, and that's kind of why it's a pilot, right? Because we're figuring out all of the stumbling spots, or all of the areas that we need to. Now, I want to say something. You can't get to what I just said without a new enterprise like the cloud computing
Mm-hmm.
center here. Why? Because that'll generate the money that allows us to move in that direction. The other thing it does, it moves us into the innovation technology hub for the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which then means that we're now getting, because I want to move us into bioscience here. I mean, we are already in bioscience, but I want to really crank up that sector, right? These are the jobs of tomorrow. Bioscience, I want to get quantum really going here. These are the jobs of tomorrow. And these jobs are going to affect healthcare. They're going to affect every sector from HVAC to you name it. It's going to affect even in podcasts. The way we're doing it now is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
Cameras are going to change. Mics are going to change. Everything, lighting is going to change. And in order for us to innovate like that, we have to be on a foundation. The Bible says you got to build on solid rock.
Mm-hmm.
When your economy is solid rock, now you can build solidly. Like Charles County, they got their act together,
Mm-hmm.
and they have overtaken us. I need everyone to hear that and know that.
That is true.
Charles County has overtaken. I know several businesses, friends of mine, even friends of mine, who moved out there because of the incentives and what they laid out for them.
Mm-hmm.
We have to start building on solid rock. And once we do that, each step is supporting the other step, right? And so I'm glad you said, though, what you said, because when I first got into politics, this is what I was talking about. But everybody was saying, oh, that's the education czar right there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I realized, you know what? I'm going to have to show everybody that I'm way broader than that. So let me deal with the economy because the economy stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And let me deal with businesses and job creation, right? And innovation. But then I knew that I had that, that bread and butter, that foundation right there that will come and now make this whole plan a winning plan for our county.
Mm-hmm.
If we do not go after this, we're going to be in the wilderness a lot longer and more people will move out of this county
Mm-hmm.
because people are already moving. People already feel unseen, unheard, and blocked from opportunity. I've already seen families struggling with rising costs and out loud saying, "Is this county really for me?"
Mm-hmm.
Businesses struggling, fighting to survive. I just had a conversation today from a business owner who's been trying to open up his business here in this county, and red tape. And he called this agency and they're saying, well, you got to get this paperwork from this agency. And then this agency is saying, no, you don't need that paperwork. And so they go back and they say, no, they don't need it. Well, no, get the letter from them. And they're like, well, can I have a letter? No, you don't need a letter because you never needed that in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So then they go back and it's this back and forth. Where's the person who just stands up and says, I'll help you, sir. I'll take care this for you.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the system that automate and makes sure that this doesn't even happen?
And also, in some cases, depending on where you are, not only do you have to do something with the county, you also have to relate with the city. That just adds another layer of complication.
All of these different and there's different agencies, right? So all of these different agencies and layers and municipalities that you have to deal with, when really all you're trying to do, remember, society is supposed to be simple. And listen, people, let's keep it simple. Government are services. And these services are supposed to keep us safe.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not supposed to be taxing on us. It's supposed to be simple and not run like a business for profit. It's supposed to be for a better good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just give people a living wage to work for the government, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not supposed to be what we've made it out to. Well, somebody said to me, well, what office are you in now? I mean, because if you're gonna run this county, listen, I built a visa passport system for our government, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the biggest services that you can build, right? That deals with immigration, that deals with everything. Dealing with one of the countries that we deal with. I built that.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with government. I've written policy. I've worked with elected officials. I've worked with and for government. I understand. And I received the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award on service, civic. Government is civic. That's public,
Mm-hmm.
right? It is helping others. And that's what we need right now. But we need someone who can cast a vision, have innovation, knows how to create jobs, know how to manage, right? Put together a team. And once people see my team, and when they see what I'm rolling out, they're going to go, oh, he's not just talking. I'm not just here giving you some sound.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this would be great if we had cars that flew. You're like, oh, that would be so great. Now
Yeah.
I could just fly over to the sky.
Yeah.
No,
Forget
no.
walking.
Right. Instead of walking. Right. We'll be all like, yeah. And then you're like, well, when is that coming? Huh? No. Everything I told you about, I've already put in motion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready to go.
I'm glad you pointed it out because that's something that I did catch on to. Everything you followed up with, it's already been tested. I already have a pilot program, so it does sound good, and you're confident about your backing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Moving off of the politics to a now more personal question.
Okay.
You being a new father, having a son,
Yes.
how has that affected your mentality, the way you think?
Oh man, you hear about, having a kid And then once you have your own, so we help raise my niece, and
Okay.
she's been like a daughter.
Okay.
And if you're watching this ever, my daughter. But we help raise her.
Okay.
We finished raise. Did I say that right?
You finish raising her.
Yeah, we finished raising her. But having our own is something, man. That young man. We had a boy. He is just like what we want government services. He wants from me what we want from government services. I want to be kept safe. I want to be fed. Right? Want to be put to sleep when I'm ready, because they'll be laid out crying and everything, and you're like, what is wrong? Oh, you want to go to sleep. And then once you start heading that in that direction, they're like, they quiet down.
Mm-hmm.
The pamper change, right? Are they burped? There's this list, right? You go down. Okay, is this done? Is this done? Is that done? The pamper's been changed. Is everything? Are you wet? I mean, what's going on? And you make sure all of these things are in order, and all they care is that you do them. And what it has taught me is more patience. I have to be patient. I have to listen.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be intentional on what I'm pouring into him. He's watching. My son is a little bit over 3 months, but very smart already. And they watch everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's a quantum computer on steroids.
Yeah.
That and a good friend of mine and a family member also told me, be careful what you're pouring into them even right now. So I read to him. And in the morning, I remember one time he was fussing, and I just took out a book and started reading to him. He got quiet and watched every page and started smiling. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he was barely 3 months and he was doing that, right? I had him sitting up, and I noticed when I pray with him, I do the Lord's Prayer with him every morning, and every night I try to do it, when I get, I'm getting home late now,
Yeah, I
right?
get
So
it. I
he's
get it.
he's asleep, but sometimes he's awake, right? I gotta stay up with him until he goes to sleep. um but I try to do that with him, and I notice that he likes that. He likes daddy spending time with him and pouring into him. Right now, my father in law, he just got out of the hospital. And so, my wife had to, they're in West Virginia. They bought some land and we built a home out there. Actually, I'm a architectural designer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of designed and and a structural engineer stamped it. But anyway, they're out there. And so this is the first time I'm away from my son and my wife. And so when my wife put the video on, of me when we were FaceTiming, my son just lit up like, there's daddy. And then all of a sudden he started crying because he couldn't
Couldn't get to
he
you.
couldn't get to
Oh,
me.
that's so.
Yeah, and that really touched me. But I'm doing this for him. I'm doing this for my mother as well because she was snowed in. I'm doing this for my family, wife, because my wife is like, you've been wasting your talent. You need to give back to the people. You
Mm-hmm.
have great ideas. You have the ability. You have the relationships. You know, let's give back. So right now we're sacrificing because we believe in this county. We believe that we can do better and we can get back to when I first came here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you've mentioned this one thing 4 times now.
Right.
I didn't even count on purpose, but somehow I've been keeping a mental
Uh
note.
oh.
So,
What
so
did
I'm
it?
gonna let you get it off because
Uh
I know
oh.
I know it's building in
Uh
there.
oh. Uh oh.
Tell me how you feel about how we've handled the snow situation.
Oh.
Go ahead, let them have it. Let them have it.
This is what I'm gonna say. Listen. Well, okay. For anyone who's listening to me, I was actually in the special election
Okay.
that took place a couple years ago, and to a person, all of us said it would never happen again. There was a snow issue then, and we all said, "Oh, we will never allow this to happen." because we would manage it, we would prepare, we would make sure those contracts are ready to go, and it's a viable team that can make it happen, right? In my line of business is how you do it, right? When I'm providing services for the government, you got to provide. There is no such, and then the government is going to make sure you provide.
Mm-hmm.
So my issue is not with the provider. My issue is with the leadership. You know, all of these excuses makes me mad because Montgomery County had the same snowstorm. Anne Arundel County had the same snowstorm. Howard County had the same snowstorm. Baltimore County had the same snowstorm, but they were dug out.
Mm-hmm.
They were working on sidewalks. So don't give me excuses. Let's get down to business and handle business. And the biggest room in the world is the room for improvement.
Mm-hmm.
When you make a mistake, my bad. This will never happen again because I'm gonna put these things. I'm a solutionist. If you've not heard,
Mm-hmm.
I solve problems. I plan. And you have to plan. I'm in office and we have a snowstorm. Before the snowstorm, I'm going to want to know that we have everything in place. I don't need to know everything because I've set up a team that knows everything,
Mm-hmm.
right? My economist knows more than me. But I'm a visionary. So he's like, I need the vision so that I can crunch the numbers. We were just talking today. He was like, man, let me think about what you just told me and let me put it into the numbers, My mom was snowed in. She couldn't get to the pharmacy, the store. I couldn't really get to her. Do you know what that feels like? My mom is over 80,
Oh man.
aging in place in Largo, Maryland.
Mm.
So when I hear excuses, that doesn't cut it for me because this is personal now. Don't give me excuses. You should have been ready. We all knew that this could happen the last time.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm in office and this is happening, you're gonna see me out there shoveling snow,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I'm gonna shovel until it's wide open. But I shouldn't be out there shoveling snow when we have contracts, $1 million contracts.
Mm-hmm.
If you got $1 million contracts, why are you out there?
This should be clear.
They should be clear. And I'm gonna say one last thing, and I'm not trying to beat up anybody, but I have to say it. From where I come from, especially my team now, we can maneuver and do major projects from anywhere in the world. We don't have to all come together and spend a bunch of money in one place to get it done. We have to conserve money. This government, when the new county executive took office, the last county executive had kind of froze the government, from hiring, and let's live within some means because we had a deficit. And I just feel like right now we're seeing a 35% increase in the executive. We're seeing us spending money and decreasing in services. We're going in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm seeing, and this makes me upset. Notice how I got serious.
Yeah.
Because we're sending a message that everything is fine and everything is not fine. This economy is not fine. If we don't grow, we're going to see more than what the independent agency said that looked at this budget and said we're going to see a 58.3% deficit. No, it's going to be more than that because we've had people laid off. We have foreclosures happening. So how can you just depend on property tax and income tax and now fines?
Mm-hmm.
That's no way to build up a county. So yes, the snow is just an example. of what I've been feeling for
Makes
a
sense.
while, what we
Makes
all been
sense.
feeling.
Yeah, and you do not feel that alone for sure. Um, lastly, I've got all of my questions out already.
Hmm. Hmm.
Lastly, I would just like for you to speak to the viewer and just
Mm.
tell them what you would want to say to them directly.
Mm. My name is Marcellus Crews, and I'm your son. I'm your nephew. I'm your brother. I'm your cousin. I'm your best friend. I'm your neighbor. I grew up in this county, and this county gave back to me. That's why I'm successful. I believe in this county, but we are hiring the wrong people. You gave me the education that I have, you gave me the experience that I have. And so I'm asking for your support, your help to bring back this county, not to its glory, its yesterday glory, but to its new glory. That county up on a hill, shining bright, financial healing, not missing any more opportunities. And lastly, bringing our education and workforce development to a place where now people want to come here. And Prince George's County becomes the innovation and technology hub for the world. If this is something you want, if this is something you hear me saying, you're like, I just want to know more, come check me out. Go on my website. Reach out to the team. 301 325 8898. I just gave you a number to call. 301 325 8898, or just go to marcelluscrews.com. I'm ready to work for all of us. Let me be your sword and shield and fight for you.
This is Digital Discourse, and I support that message. That's all I got for you, man. Thank you for coming.
I appreciate you, brother. I think I enjoyed that
I did
conversation.
too.